We've learned a lot in 2020. I hope you have. I know I have. And being in the area of sales and leadership and communication, I wanted to share with you a couple of things that have changed dramatically so you can be successful in your communications, whether in business, at home, or with yourself. Basically, three areas of change, major change in how we communicate in 2020. And I'm just going to tell you that I don't think this is going to change anytime soon. This is what we're looking at going into the future. How you communicate in your life, how you communicate as a leader, and how you communicate around money in your business, okay? So there's some very, very significant changes, and if you don't understand these changes, you're not going to be effective. You know, in business we say good communication creates good cash flow, internal and external. But what about you? What about you? What I find is I work with people in sales all the time and leaders, but what blows my mind is some of the basics of communication, basic communication, awareness, understanding where other people are at, making sure that other people hear what you said, duplicate what you said, and you're able to duplicate what they said. Basic stuff that we teach. Not even going to get into that right now. But a couple areas to focus on if you're going to be a successful communicator. First of all is the communication you have with yourself, and yourself is that little voice of yours. You know, the little voice I always talk about, the one that went, that little voice, that one. These days in 2020, words like depression, confusion, hope, praying. You know, people are in frames of mind where they're easily distracted, and desperation. These are words that we didn't think about too much. We didn't talk about 2019, 2018 because attitudes were good. Economy was good. We didn't have a pandemic. We didn't have a crazy economy going on out there. But right now you have to understand that these words are there. They're in your head. They're in other people's heads, and they need to be addressed. And there's easy strategies. There's simple strategies. I'm not going to say easy, but simple strategies to deal with it. If you overlook those 500-pound gorillas, then you're missing the boat, and you won't make the connection with other people. Most importantly, those are the issues you need to deal with yourself. Because two people look at the same experience, one in a depressed frame of mind, one in an optimistic frame of mind. They're going to see the same situation very different. They're going to respond very differently. That's happening around the world to everybody. Understand your little voice. The other piece here around just communication in life is your connection with other people. Your connection with other people. You see that connection? Yeah, your connection with other people. Now, what do I mean by that? These days, every group, every person out there is looking to be respected. And they're not just looking to be respected, they're demanding respect. They're demanding a level of dignity that they feel as a human being they should be entitled to. Okay? And so whether you agree with that or not is immaterial. If you're going to make a communication and be able to get what you want, help other people get what they want, you have to understand that that sits beneath the surface of most communications. To be aware of what other people are feeling, what they're thinking, we call that empathy. To be able to feel what other people feel and be willing to address and shift your communication according to where someone else is at. Which finally is probably one of the biggest issues about your connection with other people. 2020 taught us lose the ego. Let go of the ego. That need to be right. I say fight being right. It's okay to be right, but to fight to be right just upsets the whole connection with other people. Allow your ego to be less. Allow people to criticize you. Don't feel the need to fight back all the time. These are things that are hotbeds right now. And if you don't believe me, just look at the news. Just look at what's going on in just about every city around America, at least. Okay? If you want to be a great communicator, these are things to keep in mind just in dealing with other people. Now, how does this apply to your business? Well, obviously it applies to your business in the fact that the whole game of sales is different now. Game of sales is different. Why is it different? Well, it's different because, first of all, you have to use technology to communicate. And if you're not doing that, you're not communicating with very many people, number one. Number two is that in sales, the days of high pressure, selling hard, stacking value, people aren't going for that anymore these days. People want to have a conversation. They want to have a conversation with people. They want to know that the person that's dealing with them cares about them, has their back, genuinely. That they want to feel that by buying something from you is probably the safest thing that they could do, not the riskiest thing that they could do. So that whole formula of how we deal with people has evolved and morphed and changed. My friend Simon Bowen has done a tremendous amount of work in the area of the shift in sales psychology. But just what he would say if he was here, he would say it should be a safe encounter. The conversation is different. The conversation is about deep value, not about pricing anymore. Okay? People are value their money because there's not a lot of it going around. Now, how does it affect you as a leader? What has changed as a communication as a leader? Well, here's the thing. First of all, as a leader, one to many. Okay? As a leader, whether it's your own business or the world, you've got to know how to communicate one to many. Why? Because we're locked down. Because you can't go out and talk to big groups of people, and you can't talk to one after another after another. You must understand the technology to be able to talk one to and be able to lead one to many. The other thing is this: what communication works is real authenticity, talking reality. In other words, no more promises. People are sick of promises. They've been promised too much and they continue to get promised. And they know those promises are not steeped in reality anymore. People don't know who to believe. And that's why the third component in 2020 is you had to learn how to teach. How to be a great teacher. How to teach, particularly if you have a business or you have kids, be able to teach what's really true. Teach the reality. Not because you can't always believe what you're watching on YouTube. You can't always believe what's going on in that crazy world out there, or even what's taught in school. So who's that leave? Life is a lesson. Life is a school. Business is a school filled with lessons. So who's the teacher? You. If you're going to be a leader, your communication now, the way you communicate has changed quite a bit. It's not about promising the future and inspiring people to be the best they can be. I mean, there's always to be part of that. But it's ego-less. It's understanding little voices. It's about making it safe for people to work with you. It's about not making promises, but by talking one to many, being real, being authentic, and teaching people how to empower themselves. Okay, now this is a broad overview, but communication has changed. If you understand these several things, just being aware of them, you'll notice that the rapport you build with people, whether it's at home, whether it's at work, whether it's out in the community, whether it's sales, marketing, whatever, it's changed. So please don't be left behind by the change. 2020 was a great year because it's taught us how to connect better. It's taught us the power and the importance of connection. And it's also taught us how easily people get confused and distracted. Be a great leader that can give focus. I would say that the other job of a leader is, rather than creating the future, is to co-create and architect the future, rather than allowing us to be victims of the future. Nobody's looking for promises anymore from leaders. What people are looking for is, what is our future together? How do we create it? How do we work together on this? How do I have some buy in it? Give me the dignity over here. Give me the dignity. Give me the respect that I have something to offer too. Let me contribute. And let them contribute. Create a forum for that. But most importantly, manage the little voice. The little voice in your head. Because as Napoleon Hill says, that fear, which pervades this whole arena here, is rampant in the world today. What's changed in 2020 is fear runs amok around 8 billion people, almost 8 billion people out there. Fear of poverty, fear of loss of income, fear of illness, fear of death, fear of criticism. And so if you understand that that's what Franklin Delano Roosevelt said, he says, the only fear we have is fear itself. Now, why did he say that during the Great Depression? He said that because economic strife is one thing that we can all get through. But when people panic and the fear comes up, the intelligence goes down, and what happens is people fight with each other and they get depressed. And then they don't have the mental attitude, the resourcefulness, the resilience. This one, the biggest one of all, in your life, in your family, in all your business dealings. If you can be the person that replaces fear with courage, fear replace it with courage, then there's hope. And if you want to be a great communicator in 2020, in the remaining months of 2020 and going forward, hopefully you'll follow this formula. Be an amazing communicator starting right now.